Hi, this is Dina with Pretty Productive. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining me. Please consider subscribing and hit the alert for future videos. Today what I'm going to be doing is my September budget setup, as well as rolling out a lot of new sinking funds. So I've taken the last 2.5, 3 weeks and I took a deep dive into my budget. I really looked at where my money was going, and is it going where I want it to go, or is it kind of just going out of habit to certain categories? So one of the things that I kind of have on my mind right now is I am currently on, I retired early back in November. November 30th was my last day of work after 27 years with this company. And I had a great opportunity to take an early retirement along with the severance package. So my severance package ends the beginning of January. So at this point, I'm really kind of going back and forth. Do I go back to work? Do I just start pulling from my retirement? Or do I learn to live on, my husband's retirement plus a portion of what he is bringing home right now? So just a little bit of background, if you're new to my channel, is my husband and I, we live in Phoenix, Arizona. My husband retired after 25 years of law enforcement and then went back to work about 3 weeks after he retired. Some people really don't like retirement. He's one of them. And he works for a company that does ransomware. So he does the negotiation. So, the industry itself is very fickle. And I think when he originally went into it, he didn't know if he was going to like it. It's a totally different thing than law enforcement. And two, it's, an industry that changes hourly with new threats and new technologies and things like that. So we've never lived on his income that he currently makes. We've always lived on my income and his pension from law enforcement, so that he is free to leave at any time, or if, the company he works for gets bought out or closes its doors, we're not dependent on that money to live on. So we've had the luxury to just save that money and invest that money for this 18 months that he's been with this company. So that changed, of course, when I went through the job change, which was great for me because I could take this year and just live on my pension or live on my severance package and not worry about anything. And financially, we probably could continue, to live the way we're living, and I can just pull from my retirement. I have enough money in that to live, obviously. So, but there's a whole nother side to money of how I deal with money. And money to me is security. I'm not saying you can never have enough, because definitely I want to be content and live well below my means, but not feel like I'm struggling to, pay bills. So if you fast track through my budget journey through my life, is we had a lot of consumer debt. We had, all the normal things, student loan, credit cards, all that fun stuff. We did start doing the Dave Ramsey program back in 2010, paid off the last part of any debt that we had in 2019. The only debt we currently have is our mortgage, and we are accelerating that payment. So that is where we are financially. We are getting ready to pay cash for a car, which we have not had a car payment for, I think, 25 years. I always had a company car, and my husband saved up and bought a car when he retired from law enforcement. So that is a little bit of a background of my life and where I am today. So I think the biggest part of my, indecision about going back to work and not is I've always had a salary. I've not been an hourly employee for 27 years. I had a great job, good salary, good benefits, and I have to reconcile that that's not the career path I want to go on now. I'm 60, I just turned 60. I'm closer to retirement age than, you know, wanting this 20-year career or 10-year career really. So what I really, probably the deciding factor for me was sinking funds. So when you look at my past budget videos with our income versus our expenses, I usually have between $2,500 to $3,000 for sinking funds. And I love sinking funds because it's kind of like playing, you know, like what do you want to fund and what do you want to do? And do you want to save for a vacation? Do you want to save to go to Disneyland? You have that flexibility in your budget to create those sinking funds. I can't justify taking money from my retirement that's making a great interest to have, you know, $2,700 to $3,000 to play with, sitting in cash envelopes and not making interest. So I think that has been my biggest hurdle in deciding, you know, should I pull from my retirement accounts and should I go back to work? So I think what I'm going to do is a compromise. So I'm going to work out a budget that the amount that I put into my sinking funds is what I need to earn. So if that means working 30 hours a week or working 40 hours a week or working, you know, 2 virtual jobs, whatever it might be, that is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to start that in October when I get back from a trip. And if I really don't like it, which I think I will, but if I don't, then I can still go ahead and start in January pulling from my retirement account. So that's where we are. The other part of my decision-making process is that my dad is 94, my mom is turning 89. So when you look at my family genetics, my history, you know, all of my relatives have lived well into their, you know, late 80s and 90s. So I look at the fact that I have probably good genetics. I know I need to do a lot better at taking care of myself and, you know, doing all the things I know to do to have better health. So I want to make sure that I am not a burden to my children. You know, if I live into my 90s and, you know, God forbid I need to go into memory care like my mom, which is very expensive to be in a nice, clean place, I need to make sure that that money is there. And part of me starting to pull at 60 is, am I going to have enough money, you know, should that happen in my 80s or 90s? So that is where my thought process, why I don't sleep at night right now. And, you know, when I talk to my financial planner, he's like, you are fine. You are more than fine. You're going to be great. You know, don't worry about it. Start pulling, enjoy life. But with my husband working probably 60, 70 hours a week, it makes sense that I go back to work because I'm here, you know, with him working and doing things, not like we're out traveling and playing golf and things like that during the day because he is still working very much a full-time job. So let's get started. If you're still with me, thank you. Thank you for letting me talk you through what's on my brain. So you're going to notice if you have been with me for a while, this is a new sheet. I started doing this when I started doing cash envelopes and really living on a budget. I am not a budget on the computer person. I have worked on the computer my whole life. I love everything about the computer, but when it comes to budgeting, I need paper and pencil because I will go through 4 or 5 revisions before I have a final one. And I like to be able to play with the numbers and not just plug it in and really feel the number and really know what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and lay out my new September budget and talk about sinking funds, show you what my new sinking fund system is going to be like, and then I'll be back in a couple days to actually put cash in the envelope. So paycheck number 1 is still the same, $49.50. Currently my husband and I get paid once a month. So his pension is paid once a month. My severance package is paid once a month. When that ends, I'm going to go back to a bi-monthly or bi-weekly pay structure. So I'm starting to live on that now. So in the past, when we knew my husband was retiring, because he was in drop, which is where you give them a retirement date, and we knew pretty much what we were going to be making in retirement on his pension, we started to live on that probably at least a year before he retired. So anything above and beyond, so if he had overtime or holiday pay, we took that money and put it in a savings account, because I wanted to know that we could live on exactly what we were going to have to live with. So that is how my brain works. I need to be prepared. You know, I'm not good with curveballs, so I definitely like to know and be prepared. So that is kind of what I'm doing for the last 3 months of this year, is I'm kind of budgeting like a bi-weekly, even though the paycheck technically comes in at the beginning of the month. My one daughter pays me $180. I'm giving my other daughter a reprieve. She is just starting a new job on the 13th of September, so she has been kind of between jobs. Let me grab my calculator. It's kind of an important thing, right? So our income is set. There's no extra money, there's no overtime, there's no holiday pay, anything like that that we had when my husband was in law enforcement, because that was considered an hourly position. So our mortgage is actually $3,000, but we are escalating it to $3,400. And what I do is I take the principal amount of the payment, divide it by 12 months times 2. So we're making 2 extra principal payments every year. We're currently on a 10-year loan. I want it paid off in 7 years, if not sooner. My cell phone is $302. Gym is $52, internet is $120, Netflix is $15, life insurance is $106, and our auto insurance is $302. Now we are getting ready to buy a car, so this might change, but I do have my daughters on our insurance policy. I might take them off, let them get their own, and then, you know, we'll see how that number changes. I mean, it's obviously going to change a little bit. We're going to add another car to the policy. I also divided variable versus fixed expenses, because I was kind of holding them all kind of together, but really it's 2 separate numbers. So my fixed expenses is these up here plus my subscriptions. So Elements did go up to $80. It was $70, and Audible is $16. So my fixed of $4,297 plus 80 plus 16. So my fixed expenses is $4,393. Income is $10,080. So variable expenses are ones that do flex by the time of year. So I live in Arizona, so obviously our electricity bill is one that is all over the board. And there's an app, we have APS as our service provider, and they have an app that you can start to look at what the estimated bill is going to be. Now we've had an unusually cool summer, which I'm a native of Arizona. I'm telling you, it's been the nicest summer I can ever remember. It's been great. So I've been budgeting based on last year. I'm going to plug 400 in. I don't think it's going to be near that, because it's not even, I haven't gotten to my alert yet of 300. So it could be like 350 or whatever, but I'm at 400 in just so I have a little cushion. I did get my water bill. That was 80, and that has really come down. Natural gas bill has been running about 22. I'll put in 25. Pest control, we don't have service this month, and this is going to become a sinking fund, so I'm not going to put anything. No, I am going to put it here. I didn't put it over there. And then HOA is not due this month, so I did create a sinking fund for that as well. So my variable expenses are 400, 80, 25, 30, 75, So 610, right? Is that right? Yep, 610. So electricity and gas are the two that are not, those are estimates, everything else is finalized. And then lifestyle. So September is going to be really different for me because I'm actually going to be gone 12 days out of the month. So I've started to set up my budget planner, and this is kind of how I figured out what I was going to put in my categories. So my vacation is from the 8th to the 20th. So that money that I would normally spend groceries, eating out, things like that, I did not budget for. My husband's going to be on his own. He's a big boy. He can figure out his own food and things like that. So that is 12 days out of the month that did not need to be in my budget. So I took that money from my income and rolled it in to start funding sinking funds. So the more sinking funds that I can have fully funded, the better I feel about what decision I make going forward about work. The other thing that I did that's very different for me is I went ahead and plugged in my fixed expenses and my variable expenses, because normally if you're paid once a month, which is what we've been paid, it didn't really matter when they came out. But when you start to budget on a bi-weekly basis, then it becomes a lot more important that, you know, you've got, you know, your electric bill and your gas bill and these things coming out on certain days. So the ones that you see in here are the ones that will be, that you normally don't see on my budget, because I just pull them out whenever they're due and it's just one big number. So the way I broke the side bar up is my financial goals. Normally they're written on another page. I'm going to put them here so they're front and forward. Anything that's unusual for the month will go here. This is everything that direct bills to my Capital One card. So I know up front, I just add in my checkbook, and yes, I still use a checkbook register. I write our income, and then I write Capital One. I'll put $1,000, and I take that right off the top, because I know with my fixed expenses plus other things that are probably going to go on that card, I want to make sure that that money is not sitting in my account where I'm like, oh no, I got to pay that bill. I do pay my Capital One bill in full every month. So these are the ones that are auto drafted to Capital One. So I just like to keep them front and forward in my mind. I'll check them off when they've billed through. And then I know when I send that check at the end of the month, these will be paid for. I also put Capital One here because it is due on the 2nd. And then I'll put in the actual what I paid based on the money that went back to the bank from my envelopes, plus maybe I went over budget, which I did this month, plus I do keep a $1,000 cushion in my account. So sometimes I'll use a little bit of my cushion and then rebuild that up. And then I do have a Chase card that's for my Etsy shop. That is just subscriptions that I use for my shop. You normally don't see that one either, but it will be out here now. So that is how I'm going to set up my main page of the budget. So my budget is actually going to be a little different this month because it is, what do I do with that? Okay, so I'm going to use my traditional budget kit, which you've probably seen before if you have followed along. But then I also created kind of a monthly kit as well. So the monthly kit will be this page, which is the tops, the date covers, some boxes, and then this could be customized to whatever month you're using the kit for. And then these are also going to be in the shop. So they're the bill dues that I used. So this page actually matches that kit. So this will be part of the kit. And then you could also, you know, if you don't care about the kit, you're not using the kit, you want different colors, then they'll be on their own too. So I've laid these down so far, and those are all of my fixed expenses that I have. Now, if I had HOA due or pest control, those would be added onto here as well. So it's really fixed and variable. The ones that come off my Capital One, you're not going to see on what day they come through because they're all paid by the 2nd of the following month. So that's kind of how I laid it out. So with my cash stuffing and check-in and everything is going to be really weird this month because of my trip. So first of all, start by putting September on here. So we get paid here, so I'm going to mark payday. So payday also means that's going to be my cash stuffing. So anytime I do cash stuffing, it's going to be in this kind of green color. I'm telling you, it was really hard to decide how I was going to lay out this month, if I was even going to pull cash. I was thinking maybe I would just do a non-cash month, but I really know that I watch my budget a lot more when I see the cash going in and out of my hands versus swiping my debit card or my Capital One. So definitely going back to keeping myself in check. So on the 31st, I will pull out the cash for the month, and then I will, you know, our paychecks come in, and then I can roll out the rest of the month. And then on the 30th, which is tomorrow, today's 29th, I will close out August, which I will tell you up front, I am way over budget. I have way over budget. So I will do my closeout. And then we will get paid again right here, but this will start my new budget. So I'm going to do it more like the first through the end of the month versus Friday to Friday like I have been. That's really crooked. This is why I use removable matte paper, so you can move it around. Okay, so the way I'm going to roll this month out, so I'll stuff my envelopes here, and then here I will do my first weekly check-in. I may not be putting in more money into my envelopes because I am not taking my envelopes on my trip. First of all, I don't need cash. US dollars. I have euros because I am going to the south of France, so I did have to get euros for that. So this will be my weekly check-in. I come back from my trip here. I will do a check-in here just to reconcile my vacation spending and to stuff my envelopes for being home. So I do have a separate sinking fund for vacation that I'll be using, and it will be that is what I'll pull my money out of when I'm traveling. So I do have a separate, and I'll be bringing my Capital One with me as well. So this cash stuffing and weekly check-in will cover to here. And the reason why it was super important to me personally on figuring this part out, because that made a difference on when I was going to be able to pull money out and when I was going to reconcile everything. So if I just waited till the end of the month and tried to figure it out, I wouldn't be able to. And two, as soon as I come back from vacation, I want to get right back on track with my weekly budgeting. And then if I'm paid here, this budget will last until the 1st. And then I will need to balance my account. So I'll do my close on the 30th. And that way, when I switch over to October, I won't be having to flip back and forth if I start my budget here. So that is kind of how I'm going to roll out this month. So when you look at my categories, you're going to see how that changed what I normally would budget for. So for lifestyle, get my cheat sheet out. For giving, there's actually only 2 Sundays where I'm actually going to be able to go to church because of the way my travel dates are. Groceries, I put $400 just because I'll make sure there's staples here before I leave. Eating out, I put $150. Clothing, $200. Now this is my category that I'm way over in because I bought so many clothes for the trip. My husband said I've bought more clothes in the last 2 weeks than I have probably in 2 years, and he's right. I did return a lot though. I did the Amazon wardrobe, which you get 8 items to your house. You don't pay for it. You go through, you try them on, and then you buy what's left, what you decide to keep. Plus, I've been shopping as well. So I honestly don't even know what I've spent right now because I have credits coming and I have more things to return. So I don't know, but I'm going to figure it out. Spending $150. So I took my allowance category, I changed it to spending because honestly, I'm not a child. it is what it is. I'm spending money and I'm spending it on what I want, not what I need to spend it on. So I changed it to spending. Household, I put 60. Entertainment, 50. We are starting to go back to movies, which is great. Personal care, I put 100. Gas for a car, I put 100. Again, I'm only in town 18 days, so I won't be needing to gas up cars that often. Craft supplies, I put 100. I don't know why. Miscellaneous, 100. Medicine, 100. And my mom, 100. So for lifestyle, 200 plus 400, 200 plus 150 plus 60 plus 50 plus 100 plus 100 plus 100 is 1810. So 1,810. So if I take my fixed expenses of $43.93, my variable expenses of $610, my lifestyle of $1810, I'm at $63.13. Now I am doing the 52-week savings challenge. I kind of moved saving challenges over here separately. I treat them like a sinking fund, but I take that off the top of any sinking fund money. So the amount for September is a hefty $605. 68. Let's see here. So I started with $10,080 was my income. I'm going to take off lifestyle minus variable expenses minus lifestyle minus the savings challenge. So for actual sinking funds, I have $2,662. So what I decided, normally with my sinking funds, I keep them in my Capital One savings accounts, and they don't seem super real to me because I'm not seeing them. So like gifts and Christmas, my car fund that I saved for the car that we're buying, technology, my Etsy shop that I kind of keep money in just for, you know, if I want to buy new paper or a new machine, something like that, I kind of keep a fund for that, are all in Capital One. And I'm going to keep what I have there currently there. But the rest of them, like Christmas and all that, I'm going to pull out and use cash. And that's one thing I learned in the month of July. I really do like using cash for birthdays and things like that, where I've always used you know, my credit card, and then paid that off with that account. So I kind of did a little bit of reorganization on sinking funds. So this is what I did. I actually now have 3 binders. Amazon, $9. This is the A5, no, it's the personal size binder, and I'll link them down below in the description. But the pink one I've had for quite some time. I added the yellow and the mint color because I needed more room for the pouches. So we'll start with the pink one. And the pink one is all holidays. So Valentine's Day, or my anniversary, St. Patrick's Day. So like some of these holidays, when I really did my deep dive into my year and my budget, we would go out and listen to Irish music and, you know, tip the band, eat dinner, and it was about $100, and I've never budgeted for it, so I always took it out of something else. I don't know what, probably groceries and eating out and things like that, when it really should be its own budget, and I shouldn't be stealing from another category to fund that. Valentine's Day is not that big of a day in our house because our anniversary is a week later. This is my 35th wedding anniversary, so I'm sure that we're going to be doing something a little bit bigger for that. Easter, my kids are grown. They don't get Easter baskets anymore. So what we do is we get together as a family, and so it's about $100 in food is what I gather. You know, we do a big potluck and things like that. So I'm going to budget $100 for Easter. This is actually, I still need a label for it, but I'm going to label as family barbecues. So I tend to host Memorial Day and maybe 4th of July, and my sister might do Labor Day. But I like, when I host the family barbecue, I don't like people to have to bring stuff if I can avoid it. So I just like them to come and relax and enjoy. So this is what this is going to be. So it's, I think my overall budget is $300, just so that when I do decide that, hey, it's Memorial Day, let's all get together, you know, let's swim, and you don't need to bring anything, that's where the money's going to come from. Halloween is not a big deal in my life. I probably am going to get kicked out of the planner community because I'm not a Halloween person. So it's really just to buy candy, you know, for giving out. Thanksgiving, about $100-150 is what normally I contribute towards the meals. Now Christmas is a huge thing in my family. I do come from a big family. So I have $2,000 currently put aside for Christmas. And then I broke out kind of the different categories, and I do this exercise every year. So for food, and food is for Christmas Day food. So it's breakfast, it's lunch, it's dinner, it's treats, baked goods, things like that, all comes out of my food budget. Decorations includes Christmas crafts. I think I'm probably gonna have to buy a new tree this year. You know, anything I buy for the house that's decor for Christmas is going to come out of my decorations fund. Activities, we'll go do this little train, going out to see the lights, getting hot chocolate, anything like that that we do that's Christmas activities will come out of the activities envelope. And then gifts. So the gifts are pretty much going to be the $2,000 I already have in the account. I will pull that out, or if I'm buying things online, that's what's going to pay them back. So I have 4 months basically to save up these envelopes, and gifts I might need to supplement. I think we're going to try to do a smaller Christmas this year. You know, everyone's kind of had an expensive year, so we might do that, and then, you know, some of that $2,000 could go into these other categories. For birthdays, now birthdays are a huge thing in my family as well. So this is the first year that I saved for my birthday because it was a big birthday, and it was fun having that money to just buy myself something. So I have one for myself, one for my husband, my one daughter, and then my other daughter is married, so it's for her, and her husband will have their own gift. And I have about $1,000 in my birthday account that is currently in Capital One. My nieces and nephews, I have 11 of them, and they're actually my nieces and nephews' kids. So as adults, when you turn 21, we stop doing gifts for you. We kind of do cards, we get together, things like that. But for the little kids, there's 11 of them. So I always give them gifts. So I kind of just are now creating their own fund for them. And then family would be my sisters, my parents, brother-in-laws, things like that. Adventures is something I'm trying to get my husband on board with, to go take a drive and go up north or something like that. So that's going to be funded. I have, each one of my daughters has a dog that I spend a tremendous amount of money on. So this one is for their pets. And then Disneyland has reopened. I love Disney. We did have annual passes. They gave us back our money for them. Made me very sad. But I am starting to save up so that we can go back to Disneyland. So these are my holidays and occasions kind of together. And then in this one, these are my regular cash envelopes that I use. But I went back to a wallet. So I decided to kind of compromise between the two. So what I had been doing is just putting the money in my wallet and spending it however, and then reconciling based on which account it's going to come out of. But I decided to go ahead and make envelopes that fit into my wallet, kind of like tabs, but envelopes, which I cannot find right now. Oh, here they are. So these will go starting in the month of October. These will actually go into my wallet, and there's nothing to punch because I went ahead and made them smaller. And these are actually vinyl, so they're really kind of giving if you want to stuff a little bit more money in there. So the ones that will go into my wallet when needed will be miscellaneous, my mom, medicine, personal care, gifts, groceries, eating out, clothing, and spending. So these are the ones I normally grab money from the envelope, and I've been just pulling the envelope out and sticking it in my purse, and it's not a good system, you know, it could fall out or whatever. So these all fit into my wallet. So for an example, if I'm going to see my mom and I know I'm going to get stuff for her, I'll put money from her envelope in here, track it, and then put any excess back into the main one. So that is how that's going to happen. And so my new envelopes, and what I decided to do for my shop as well, I'm going to have kind of seasonal ones, and I'm going to take down all the other sets that I have because there's a lot of listings, and with Etsy they charge per listing. So this is my fall set. So I have bank, clothing, eating out, gifts, groceries, household, medicine, mom, personal care, recreation, savings challenge, and spending. Now, if you hold on till the end of the video, I'm going to announce a giveaway for your own set of the fall envelopes and labels as a thank you for the constant support that I receive from you guys on my channel. This is also a matte laminate, and then it's see-through on the back, so it really isn't as bright. I did a gold sparkle on the foil, which I'm kind of iffy about, but it does kind of add a little pop to the envelope since it is a matte laminate. So then starting with the rest of my sinking funds, I have arts and crafts, beauty and skincare, car maintenance, dental, electricity. So this is where my overage for my electricity will go. Etsy shop, fitness, HOA, and house reno. So house reno is another one that you guys don't see. So I'm going to be tracking the transactions on here just to keep them clear in my mind, but you won't see the cash in here because that is more money that I would feel comfortable keeping in a envelope, but also, you know, I would need to pay people from that account. And then my last one finishes out my envelope. So health and medical would be anything that, you know, would fall into that. I don't pay my medical copays in cash because my doctors no longer take cash. Invisalign, I am starting Invisalign in October. Lottery, because why not? Pest control, so this is a fund that I'll fund like $30 a month, and it's due quarterly. planning because I spend a tremendous amount of money on planners. So rollover is new. Normally I just kind of put the money back in my account or whatever, but I am going to start a rollover because I think that's more of an incentive to save it. This one I haven't decided yet. This is also a vinyl envelope, so it kind of is going to go into that rollover, but I'm not sure yet. Savings challenge, self-care, subscriptions. So this would be Amazon, probably is going to be my only one that I pay yearly. Technology, which stays in my Capital One account, but I'm going to track it here, and I can add to this one. These are sticking together. Vacation, again, stays in the account, but I will take part cash out for vacation. Vitamins, because I was shocked when I realized how much I spend on vitamins. And I was taking it out of medicine, and some months I was over $100 in medicine. So, and then I have an extra one back here. So one thing with this particular one, when I got the pouches that came with it, they were very wrinkly. So I may switch those out if I can't get them to straighten out a little bit. So those are my 3 binders for sinking funds. So I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to quickly write down which sinking funds I'm going to fund this month, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So that took a lot longer than I thought it was going to. So what I did when I decided to create all these sinking funds, I created this spreadsheet in Excel, and I just labeled all of them. The ones that are in pink are the ones that are my lifestyle cash envelopes, and then the ones that are not are my sinking funds, and then I broke down the savings challenge by week. So this is for the month of September. Then I took and looked at the denominations for each sinking fund. So for an example, in Adventures, I'm going to put $50. It's going to be $150, $50. Anniversary, I'm going to do 25, so it's 120.15. So this enables me to go through and know how much cash I need to pull out for both my envelopes as well as my sinking funds. The 2 categories I do not pull out cash for is giving and gas, because those I use my credit card on because I just don't want to go inside. So when you see those, oh, there it is. Okay. Those 2 do not have a cash denomination next to them because I leave those in my account, but I do want to budget for them because I'm going to be using them throughout the month. So the way I set this up, it was either the goal for that sinking fund or maybe what I already have in that sinking fund where I'm starting for, then the amount that I was going to fund for the month of September, and then the breakdown. So when you go through all of the ones that I am funding and how I decided if I was funding one or not, we'll take glasses for an example. So in the month of March, I go to the eye doctor and I usually get new lenses, new glasses. So I'm starting this in September. So I took the amount of money that it normally cost me, which is right around $400, divided that by how many months I had till March, and so I need to put $60 a month away until the month of March, so I will have the $400 cash for my glasses. Now we do have a medical savings account that I can reimburse myself for, but I kind of like to leave that for big things, you know, surgery or big copays or things like that. So that is how I decided. So for the cars, it's my daughter's birthday in October. So I wanted to start funding that, even though the balance of her birthday money will come out of either my October budget or what I have currently in birthdays. So that is kind of how I decided. So it's a total of $2,662 plus my savings challenge plus my cash envelopes. So totally I will be taking out of the bank $4,182. And this is how the breakdown of the cash will go. So that is my new budget setup. And if you have stayed throughout this whole video, and I know it's a long one and I apologize for that, I am going to raffle away a set of the new fall envelopes. There'll be 6 envelopes. You can choose your own labels and what foil you would like on there, or if you prefer no foil at all, we can do that as well. And all you need to do is drop the little emoji for money, the money bag, into the comment section and just say budget time in your comments with that little emoji, and I will do a drawing. I'll leave it open for 4 days, and then I will do a drawing and send you out your cash envelopes. So thank you so much for watching. Oh, you do need to be publicly subscribed so that I can reach out to you. And thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate all of your support for both my channel and my Etsy shop. It means the world to me. Thank you so much.